Sit back, fasten your seatbelt, and get ready to live your life a quarter mile at a time with these exciting improvised scenes.
And I'm gonna knock your teeth so far down your throat, you're gonna stick a toothbrush right up your ass to brush them.
Vroom, vroom, vroom! A saline Mustang had a brief cameo in Too Fast, Too Furious, and that's because this happened to it. Considering that this franchise is known for destroying cars, you might be surprised to learn that this moment of intense wreckage wasn't planned at all. The stuntman just so happened to crash into the Corvette during the chaotic chase scene, and he was lucky to walk away unscathed. While the crash wasn't scripted, however, director John Singleton turned what could have been a traumatic experience for the driver into cinematic gold. As you just witnessed, the crash was left in the movie in all of its unfiltered glory. And it looks pretty awesome. Then again, this is a saga that's embraced unscripted collisions from the get-go. With that in mind, let's look at demolition derbies of the human variety. Do you recall that scene in the first movie where Paul Walker got into it with Matt Schultz? Now that's a clumsy scrap right there. Then again, neither actor was auditioning to be the next Bruce Lee with those skills. But that's because they wanted to fight the same way good old Paul and Matt would in real life. The actors got to make up their moves on the spot, and they certainly didn't go easy on each other. I bet there were some bumps in those vehicles they slammed each other into as well. Now, don't get me wrong, watching these two hulks slugging it out over a tuna sandwich is kind of funny. But it wasn't the only hilarious improvised scene that involved fists being thrown.
You thought this was gonna be a street fight?
Vin Diesel has a lot of creative input over the Fast and Furious franchise, but he's earned that right considering that he's been there since the start. And his talent and experience allowed him to come up with a funny and nostalgic line for one of his esteemed co-stars in Furious 7. Do you recall when Letty beat up poor Hector?
What the hell?
Well, it turns out the following exchange between Vin and Noel Guglielmi was played off the cuff.
Girl still got that swing, homie.
Never could take a punch.
That might seem like a throwaway moment in the grand scheme of things. I mean, this is the same franchise that casually drops cars out of airplanes after all. But Vin later revealed that they wanted to make a callback to the first movie, and a dramatic exchange with Hector at a racing event was ideal for that. At that point, it had been 14 years since the beloved Hector made a cameo in a Fast and Furious movie, so they made sure that he had a chance to shine for old time's sake.
I'm gonna need you to hook me up.
This series places a lot of trust in its big players, though, and Vin isn't the only fella who got to call some shots in the past. When John Singleton helmed Too Fast, Too Furious, he understood the talent he had at his disposal in the form of Paul Walker and Tyrese Gibson, so he let them go off script and be spontaneous. And it led to a funny exchange between our heroes.
Pockets ain't empty, cuz.
And we ain't hungry no more either, bruh.
In an interview with Black Film, John stated that the actors had great chemistry together, and he let their real-life closeness shine in the movie. Paul and Tyrese had such a good time on and off the set that you feel it in the movie that you felt of Paul and Vin in the first film. Heck yeah, they did. Of course, when it comes to stealing the spotlight, look no further than Tyrese Gibson. He lights up every scene he's in, especially when he's around people who don't react favorably to his silly antics. It's advised that you don't invite his character to your parties. That's if you want them to go ahead without any drama taking place.
To you, to you.
Oh, I wish I didn't see that.
After singing Happy Birthday and making some questionable comments toward the star of the show.
And we're so happy for you to be here. You look like you got some missiles underneath that dress. No?
Roman proceeded to make an ass out of himself, which led to him insulting one guy's headgear. For that scene, they gave Tyrese a microphone and let him cut loose. And he was so entertaining that they kept his stand-up routine in the movie. But why wouldn't they? Tyrese knows how to put on a show.
Some of y'all probably went to the bathroom and noticed that all the hairspray was missing. Yep, he did it. Thank you.
It's clear that Tyrese is a witty fella, but one of his co-stars is a next-level genius when it comes to memorable improvisations. Hobbs might be all bronze and brutality sometimes, but his sense of humor arguably outshines his macho tough guy abilities. Prior to becoming one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was a WWE superstar with a tendency to trash talk his opponents. So it's unsurprising to learn that he brought some of that good-natured ribbing to the Fast and Furious franchise. That was especially evident in the Fate of the Furious scene, in which Hobbs and Shaw got into a war of words during a confrontation. Let's refresh your memory.
When this whole thing is over, we're gonna find a location, and I'm gonna knock your teeth so far down your throat, you're gonna stick a toothbrush right up your ass to brush them.
You'd think that a line that good would have been in the script from the get-go, but it turns out that these lovable rogues were just messing around. Well, speaking of comic book resources, Dwayne revealed that the line was improvised, though he had to convince the Staith to deviate from the script. I remember I thought, let me try this first. I want to say something to you. I want to talk a little shit for and you react how you react. And he said, okay mate, sure. And I said, I promise you, trust me, I'm not going to hang you out to dry if it works. It should be kind of funny. More so, the laughter wasn't supposed to happen either. Dwayne told a fan on Twitter that both men completely broke character, but they felt comfortable doing so due to their amazing chemistry. Needless to say, the filmmakers were happy to keep the scene in because who in their right mind would leave that magic on the cutting room floor? Furthermore, the scene led to the actors getting their own spin-off movie.
Access denied. Access denied.
Johnson told CBR that the chemistry between Dwayne and Jason in that scene convinced Universal to center an entire movie around their characters. And the rest is history. Sometimes all it takes is a good joke about shoving things where the sun doesn't shine to greenlight tentpole blockbusters. That said, that isn't even the funniest improvised moment involving Dwayne. Are you ready for the funniest improvised scene in the entire saga? Make sure you aren't eating or drinking. Alrighty, let's get to it. Ludacris and Tyrese Gibson often serve up the comic relief in the Fast and Furious movies, but what happened when one of them tried to take on Dwayne in a battle of wit? Back in Fast and Furious 6, Hobbs hits Roman with a zinger so good that it causes Tej to spit out his drink. And the best part? None of what you're about to see was rehearsed.
Hey Mia, you better hide your baby or...
I'm just playing.
You better hide that big-ass forehead.
I was just joking.
Did you see Luda's drink go everywhere? How embarrassing! Let's watch it again.
You better hide that big-ass forehead.
But in all fairness to our dude, he genuinely couldn't contain his laughter after watching his co-star get supremely owned by the most electrifying man in all of entertainment. The rapper turned actor later admitted that he was, and I quote, really laughing, and noted how the cast liked to create real moments. They certainly delivered an all-timer here, much to our delight. If you like this video, be sure to watch the best bloopers from the Fast and Furious franchise as well.